Author's House.
A lot of people now are caregivers. A lot of people need mental health. And where does this lead us? What is going to happen with the healthcare system? So I actually do the future of healthcare system. I have a passion for that. I want to help people. I don't want them struggling needlessly. What inspired me to write the book, You Have Time to Die and Go Broke, is what I went through with the healthcare system. It is horrendous. We don't deserve that. I'm caring for my in-laws, for my husband who had pulmonary fibrosis. No one deserves to go and deal with what they have to deal with. So I wrote a comprehensive book that deals with all the different aspects of healthcare system to help people and empower them. My background that influenced me with the book, what I felt that I actually would have enough experience and knowledge to be able to write this book, is my experience in actually being a primary caregiver. And then my own personal healthcare experience, I felt that I would be able to take and write this book. You know, I wanted to. It's a passion of mine. I ended up coming up with You Have Time to Die and Go Broke because that pretty much sums up the healthcare system. Between the cost of healthcare, dealing with the insurance companies, the long waits at the emergency, I'm like, well, you have to pay for prescriptions and then trying to navigate the insurance company. It was just, that's what inspired for my title of the book.
Whoa, 1,000.
Ah! See, she couldn't beat the crap out of me again. The challenge of it is it's pretty cumbersome, actually. It's sort of like, where do I begin? It's everything interconnects with each other. And the healthcare system is such that the insurance, you have getting the actual primary care, the hospitals, wait times, and then the challenge is, where do I begin my book? And so I said, okay, I want to take and I want to go, I want this, that. I wanted to start off with taking and picking a primary care, what you should get from your primary care. Then I went and did the actual, if you go to an emergency room, if you get admitted, and then the insurance. A lot of people have issues with their insurance having to pay. And the thing is that the government, what they pay for Medicaid, it's not enough. So insurance has a big influence. And so that was the challenge. It's sort of like I didn't want the book to be too many pages as well. How I did that was, okay, I want to start off with the primary care, you know, and I also wanted to do the actual stories that I've heard from other people. I wanted their stories to be in there, the challenges that they faced. So I did my research and found out who I could interview. And that was kind of a challenge in itself too, because some of the healthcare people were actually busy, but I was able to get some good interviews from them. And I did it so it had to be like different aspects, you know, someone that's a CEO of working at a hospital, nurses, doctors, and, you know, talking to other people. And then also the stories, heaven forbid that we don't have our phones now or computers that we can actually look things up. So a lot of the stories I got from there as well. personally, for me, it's basically taking and going back. It's like reliving everything again. Also, you know, hearing these stories, and I'm like, I feel so bad. It's like, you shouldn't have went through that. You know, the doctors, you shouldn't have to go through this. So that's kind of like a struggle mentally for me. And the passion that I have is to make it better for other people, to empower people. When I first started out, there were some things that I knew that I would need help with. And so first of all, a publishing company. So I did my research with a publishing company. Also, I don't have a degree in English, and I've never written a book. So I wanted it very professional. And I had the vision for my book. So I goes, well, maybe I can get a ghostwriter. I mean, I wrote the book myself, but I needed a bit of guidance. I needed it to make sure that once it went to the ghostwriter, that she would take and make sure that it was all in proper English, that the story flowed. And so I got a storyteller. And then the third part is actually, I wanted to market my book. I want my readers to be empowered. That's important to me. I want my people that read it to take and know, okay, you know, I can deal with this. I can deal with this because this is how I deal with it. And that's why I want to take my readers to take away from the book. I want my readers to take away from the book that you can be empowered. You have a voice. It is your body, your caregiver's body. If you're an advocate, you know, use your voice. If you're a patient, use your voice. You can ask questions. You can say, okay, can you take and actually, how can I go into a different aspect to, you know, so okay, I don't like this doctor, so I got to change doctors. How do I deal with all this stuff? Wait time in the emergency room. So I want them to be empowered and, you know, have the knowledge. I want to take, and the support I got was basically within myself to say, I'm going to do this. I don't care. I have to empower myself to do this because it's really cumbersome. And so then I got the support of Authors Press, and then I got support from my ghostwriter, so that's kind of like my support system. My feeling, the passion that I have about this book, the so importance of people reading this book, doing a documentary, I need the word to get out, because one thing that I learned was that I took for granted from my experience how to deal with the healthcare system. But I was surprised how many people out there don't know how to navigate it. And it's so detrimental to your well-being, to your quality of life, to get the health care that you can. And I just felt so bad, not only for the patients not getting it, but also for the healthcare workers, what they have to do to navigate it. It's crazy. It breaks my heart for people to go through what they're going through in the healthcare system. And the book that I do gives tips on how to navigate the system. And I think that's so hard. And sometimes, you know, you can reach out for help to say, how do I navigate this? First of all, you have a voice. Use it. You're absolutely okay with asking questions. If you need to reach out, reach out. But you need to realize that you deserve better than what you're getting. And, you know, there's lots of tips from actually taking and having less costs for insurance. On a commercial where they say call so-and-so, and then you can have like a zero copay. I've done it. It's excellent. You know, from navigating the insurances to get the best insurance that is for you. To be able to know is of, okay, if I'm a patient, I'm not going to get to know what's going on until all the results are given to you. You know, as soon as the doctor gets all the results, then you're going to get answers. You can nag him from here to kingdom come, but if he doesn't have everything, he's going to wait till he gets all the results before he does that. Same thing with the primary care. It's critical. I can't stress enough to advocate for yourself. Get a person to advocate for you, because if you can't advocate for yourself, you need somebody to advocate for you. Make sure that person can advocate for you. If they can't, it's pointless. You can research insurances and make sure that you have the insurance that works for you. Also, too, you can also call those companies that say, like the commercials, there's so many commercials for medicine. If they say call, you know, to get assistance on your copay, call it. There's also grants to help pay for your actual medical care, you know, sort of like your prescriptions. So these grants are X amount of money that they give you. So what happens is that your insurance pays X amount, and then what happens is that the grant will pay the rest until the grant runs out. There's also the Good RX. I couldn't believe it. You can also use it for your pet prescriptions. But that's like another one. Also, if you are admitted to a hospital, you can take and say, or can I have financial assistance? And you can probably work something out for the financial assistance. So you can work with it that way. Whatever you do, if you get a bill, make sure that bill is a final bill to pay, that your insurance has paid what they were supposed to, number one. You can argue with it if you didn't get the care that you did. Like if they charged X and it's like, I didn't have this. And so you can actually argue your case too. If you feel that they didn't charge, you know, they inappropriately charged you, you can actually take and say, I'm not, you know, I need to deal with this, and call and say, listen, I don't believe this, and deal with it. Don't pay it until everything is all set, that you know it's all set, and you have a right to disagree. You kind of like want a partnership with your primary care doctor. You should feel like you should be able to have a partnership with them. You should be able to feel like you have to take, and it's okay to ask questions. It's definitely okay to ask questions. And then that doctor should get back to you and say, okay, this is the answer, or I don't have the answer, I'll have it there. Also be proactive, making sure you get the test results that you're supposed to be getting in a timely fashion. They don't call. If you have to go to a higher up, go to the higher up. Be tenacious. The healthcare system is supposed to be taking and informing you about any changes, and they have to do it in a timely fashion. They can't just say, oh, I'm dropping out, you know, you're not going to have your primary care tomorrow. They have to take and they have to inform you in time. What happens is that in the healthcare system, it is for profit. And the higher ups, the CEOs, seem to feel like they can go and have as much profit as they want without caring about the patients, the doctors. They just want the money. And that's not right. It's kind of like the hospitals are owned by a corporation. So the corporation says, I want X amount of money from the hospital, and then that affects the patient's care. And one way we can do this is, like, a lot of hospitals are closing. One of the reasons is because Medicaid is such that they don't pay enough. The hospitals that are mainly Medicaid, they're going under because they just not getting the money back for government. So the government can, one thing they can do, it's not just about everybody making sure they have insurance, but the government needs to make sure that, as far as Medicaid is concerned, that they're giving enough money to the hospitals so that they can help these patients, that they can stay afloat. And then the corporations have to realize that the hospitals are there not just to make money, they're there to heal people. So you have to have a proper culture. You have to have proper efficiency of the hospital the way it's run. You have to allow the hospitals to be able to have what they need to be able to do what they do. Caregiving can be such a challenge for me time. You really can't schedule a specific time for me time. And sometimes you don't have a lot of time for yourself. And it's like a huge struggle. But there are little things that you can do to give yourself a break where it's so flexible. And one of the things that I love to do is Tai Chi. You can also read a book, listen to relaxation music, whatever that kind of clears your mind, makes you feel better, to be able to give you some time to de-stress. You can do it as long as whatever you do is flexible. There was an advice that was given to me, and the advice was, be careful when you're marketing it, because there's a lot of fraud out there. And I would give that advice to other authors as well, especially if you're being a self-published author. Again, it's a self-published author. And as far as the healthcare system, believe in what you're writing about. Have a passion what you write about. That's important too. I want people to have the best quality of life that they can have. I don't want people struggling to get what they deserve. I don't want healthcare workers to be able to go through what they're going through. So by me writing this book, by me saying, okay, I can empower a patient, that actually has to help the healthcare workers.
Author's House.